It's your boy Angelo Savage, and I heard they busting it down in Chicago. Let's go. Play the video.
Of this drive-through service.
It starts at night. It goes well into the morning, early morning. Prostitution on full display in 2 Chicago wards.
And tonight, residents are calling for change. Tia is here with the video and the story behind this. Tia.
Well, we actually got this video in July of this year. Residents were complaining about this, and now we're hearing from community activists on this very issue. It all started with that email. A frustrated resident told me she finally had enough. The video she sent shows prostitutes standing right in front of her home, brake lights from cars lighting up the block like the red light district, left behind for all to see, condoms, and a whole lot more.
Oh, wait, was that 5 in the morning, dude? It's 5 in the morning. Block this drive-through.
Horse.
And the reason why we blurred that video is because the woman, she has nothing on but a pair of shoes. Not even 24 hours ago, a resident in the community of Garfield Ridge sent us a similar video. It shows prostitution actively taking place in Archer Heights and the Sleepy Hollow area too. This activity spans across the 22nd and the 23rd wards. Residents say it's been happening for months there, specifically along Cicero Avenue, between 47th Street and Archer Avenue, across a 5-block stretch.
Even the police trying to get some.
This is all in close proximity to Midway Airport. Maybe you've seen it on your way out of town. Residents claim this is a lucrative operation running openly, while city officials in Chicago turn a blind eye, and pimps sit nearby to collect the profits.
They're picking up young girls from wherever they're getting them, and they're prostituting them on the streets. And this looks like a traffic highway between 11:30 to 5:30 in the morning. You can't even get in the alley to park your cars. So we're asking for the politicians, when you want our vote, like he said, you're out here and you're pacing the streets. Can you please be out here pacing the streets now? I understand that we don't have a lot of police, but I do understand we could get a couple police officers here to help us.
Please.
Now, we did get 2 statements from both alders. The first one from the 22nd Ward. Alderman Michael Rodriguez says, "We have taken decisive action. Working alongside the Chicago Police Department, we have prioritized increased enforcement in the area, making this issue the #1 public safety focus for the local police district. In addition, we have brought in the county sheriff's office to provide additional resources and support on the ground." Alderwoman Silvana Tabarez of the 23rd Ward says, and she acknowledged this in her statement, that prostitution is a major issue along the Cicero corridor, saying additionally, we have coordinated with local civic organizations and city agencies to increase lighting, install additional cameras, and hold businesses accountable who allow solicitation on their premises. While others elected officials have attempted to overlook the issue, even pushing for legalized prostitution, this activity is not tolerated in the 23rd Ward. Now,
Look, I'm tired of the foolishness. Now, you see what he said at the end. They got this part. Basically this part right here. Look, he said it all right at the end. And I wanted to let y'all know something. It says it's even pushing for legalization of prostitution. Now, I'm glad that individual said that. That being said, it's time for Angelo to work his magic, man. I did a deep dive, man. I was just a little bit curious. And you know, when I get curious, I start looking, right? And me looking for things, man, it reminded me. I said, man, I remember sometime this year, somebody was pushing for legalization of prostitution. Why did I hear this once before? It's your boy Angelo Savage reporting. This is hood journalism. You hear me? So that being said, let's flip all over here. Let's see where we at. Let's flip on over here to Fox 32 Chicago News for some news. All right. Now, this was published March 13th, 2025. State of Illinois. Illinois seeks to legalize prostitution and create sex worker rights, but face opposition. Look, you niggas freaky, G. You freaky. You want to legalize prostitution. Why would you want to do that? Because I'll tell you the problem. Y'all think it's going to stop pimps from pimping bitches? No. They're going to pimp them more now. And now it seems as if they don't have to beat them. They ain't got to do all this extra stuff to hide it now because you made it legal to do and made it unenforceable, so then police can't do anything about it. You're basically asking for people to be sex trafficked. That's exactly what you're asking for. That's the problem with our state. You do the opposite of what people actually want, and you do the opposite of everybody want, and then it does the opposite effect that you thought it would do. Come on, man. We don't want prostitutes around our children. We don't want this type of behavior everywhere, because if we allow prostitution to be legalized, think about it, then it can be legalized anywhere at any time, any day. The police can't enforce it. They can do what the hell they want. Illinois lawmakers are considering the Keep Sex Workers Safe Act. Come on, bro. They just making shit up now. Keep Sex Workers Safe Act. Bro, everybody going to hell. Which would legalize prostitution and establish a sex worker bill of rights. Oh, Lordy. We're in trouble here. The bill aims to provide sex workers with legal protection, health access, and benefits while prohibiting discrimination. Health access, legal protection, and benefits, prohibiting discrimination. Girl, you selling cat. Critics argue that legalization of prostitution could lead to increased exploitation, particularly in minors, while supporters believe it would protect workers and reduce harm. Hey, look, there are hella liberals in Illinois, right? In our Congress. But there are those faithful, good Republicans that we need there. And I already know who voted against this. Them good old Republicans. Because it's not right. That's exactly what you're doing. How are you going to say this won't happen? If you don't, they're going to be exploited immediately. Even by force. This is Chicago we talking about. This is Illinois. This is a place you don't want sex to be legal. At least prostitution. You do not want prostitution to be legal in this state, bro. You're tweaking if you're doing that. That is sex. That shit's damn near worth more than drugs. It's sex. And then not only that, you feeding that into the mind of the children. Because you got to think about it. If I can pay for it and it's legal to pay for it, what's wrong with it? Nothing's wrong with it. I'm paying for it. The government said I can do it. I can do it. I just got to protect myself. Other than that, this is all cool. It's going to break up relationships. It's going to break up marriages. It's going to leave the kids degenerate, detached from other women. You get what I'm saying? Like, are we not thinking about this, or you're just thinking about the freedom of people that want to sell their body to people? Right? Spread of STDs. See, y'all don't know how this works, huh? Y'all, it's protected. Look, there's places like Vegas that does it and everything, right? But it's a confined space. I don't think it's more outside of Vegas. But at the end of the day, it's still degenerate behavior to be selling your private areas, let's say. Is it not? And this article is from March. But the video I showed you is actually from today. Right? The prostitution problem. And that's been going on for a long time. People in the communities like, bro, y'all got to do something about this. What are y'all doing? Y'all just letting these people roam our communities? Isn't this illegal? Why aren't you enforcing it? As if you're using the service. Let these people, these are grown up people. They don't want this around their kids. They don't want this around their future because it prevents it. It's like the same idea with OnlyFans. What has happened with OnlyFans? You got 18-year-olds just turning fresh 18 OnlyFans getting $1 million. Lil Tay. I don't want my kid to turn 18 years old trying to bust it down on no OnlyFans because they gave up on life already and didn't want to go to school. They said, why do that? I can make $1 million today. First weekend of OnlyFans, I can make $1 million. Show my butthole. Yeah. Or if that don't work out, I just sell the cat directly to the source. Yeah. A little $40 holla. You hear me? $40 holla. Y'all find this as like amusing, but it's not. It's actually very alarming. It's very alarming. It's very scary because in my eyes, I feel like it's slowly getting demonic. We're legalizing marijuana. Okay, cool. Now we're going to legalize sex. Okay, wow. What else are we going to legalize? We're going to take away the guns and bring in immigrants. What you want to do? No feds. We don't want the feds here either. What is going to be a degenerate state? It's best to just leave it. Because at the end of the day, we're going to look up and then everything's going to be bad. Everything is going to be sex driven, money driven, and it's going to be like everything. It's just going to be horrible, bro. And I hate to talk this way, but it's like when you bluntly see things, it's like it's hard to not see it. It's hard not to see these things when you see it actually going on right in front of you. When I heard about this, as a male, I was like, oh yeah, cool. But then I started to think a little deeper and started to think outside myself. What if my son or my daughter or whatever catches something from one of these women, or they feel like there's no need to invest into another woman and start a family because he can get whatever he wants from this woman, and that's what he wanted from that woman but she can't give him the family. Losing his V card to a prostitute. Come on, bro. Getting burnt. Come on, bro. It says legalizing prostitution. Let me read it just a little bit more. What we know. Called the Keeping Sex Workers Safe Act. The proposal aims to bring the industry out of the shadows and protect those involved in the work that can be incredibly dangerous. It also provides sex workers with the same legal protection, health access, and benefits that other workers receive. So how much cat they got to sell per hour? You know what I'm saying? Are we paying them per nut? Are we paying them per hour? You know what I'm saying? Because what? They supposed to get a 401k? Oh, no, bro. So all they got to do is lay on their back, get a 401k. Bro, y'all tweaking, bro. This is weird. This is weird. To even have this discussion, and it's even in the Congress of Illinois, it's a problem already. That is a very big problem. It shouldn't even get there. And then when it gets there, you're arguing that you want it, while the other ones, thank God for the Republicans, are arguing that you shouldn't have it. It's like our state is becoming soulless. The bill also prohibits any discrimination against anyone who is a sex worker. Any discrimination, that's very broad. That can be anything. I call a prostitute a hoe. I call her a whore. That's discrimination. I can be like, ugh, get away from me. You probably got something. That's discrimination. Oh, I don't want to service your kind in my business. That's discrimination. Oh, put some clothes on. Why are you so naked? Oh, I'm a sex worker. I can do what I want. That's discrimination. The bill will prohibit that. I don't want you around my killed children. Can prostitute walk all in Walmart? Oh, you can't prohibit me from walking in Walmart like this because I am a sex worker. See, y'all got to watch with this legislation there. They'll slide it under the door and then it'll pass, bro. Right before you know it's even going through, bro. Bro, facts. Or it reduced the amount of prostitution arrests. And in 2013, the state reduced the crime of prostitution from a felony to a misdemeanor. In 2013, the state reduced the crime of prostitution from a felony to a misdemeanor. Why would you reduce something that is bad for the community to something that is a lesser crime? That resulted in a reported 97 reduction in prostitution arrests. Of course, because it's a misdemeanor. It's damn near a ticketed offense. Of course, it's going to go down in arrest. And this is what they say when Illinois is forging information. Basically, let's lessen the crime of this felony to a misdemeanor. And then let's say the numbers of crime has went down. Oh, 97% reduction of prostitution arrests. Nigga, that's because you're not arresting people for that. Because it ain't a felony. Please, if I'm wrong, tell me I'm wrong. Please tell me I'm wrong if I'm wrong. You know what I'm saying? And we shouldn't be it. And look, it says what they're saying. It says what they're saying. Adults should be able to engage in consensual sexual activity without government interference. The people who are being coerced and trafficked and forced through violence to engage in sexual activity, that's a crime, and it should remain a crime. And that's all our bill does. And I think it's a really good step forward for our state, said State Representative Will Gizzardari of Chicago. Come on, bro, you're tweaking to even say some shit like that. Can I re-say it? Adults should be able to engage in consensual sexual activity without government interference. The people who are being coerced and trafficked and forced through violence and engaged in sexual activity, it's a crime and it should remain a crime. Okay? Right? This is correct, right? While saying, and that's all our bill does. And I think it's really important. That's all the bill does. Look, there's a very thin line between an adult engaging in consensual sex and sex trafficking because you're offering the sex on the street. You have no clue who this woman works for and you won't ask because that's discrimination. You're not going to stop a sex worker and say, give me your credentials, who you work for. Yeah, I work for P. Diddy. I work for Big Daddy over there. He watching me, making sure everything goes copacetic. And then not only that, you got to understand, this gives leniency for all women to be snatched up. You think they won't? Women come in there half naked, jump in the car. You think he won't lock the doors, have her snatched up and dip down the street? It's just that simple. Because you allowed the transaction to even conspire. And since you allowed the transaction to happen, this is what happened. Now she just got kidnapped. And now she's a sex slave in this dungeon because she just advertised her body to him instead of staying conservative for their body and hiding it. Most prostitutes know that's the risk. That's why they have pimps and other people watching their back, right? But there's nobody watching your back when you have everybody doing it. You think a pimp is going to wait one hoe at a time? No. All the hoes get out on the street right now and bring back daddy's money. You know what I'm saying? That's what they talking about out here, man. It just don't make sense. And then they try to make it say that it makes sense. And look, it says, however, Republicans in the General Assembly says legalizing sex work could lead to more of it and more potential exploitation of women and minors. You see how the Republicans stopping it, but the Democrats are like, yeah, let's go. I'm tired of my wife. Let's just pay for it. I'm tired of it being illegal too, so I don't have to worry about being caught because I ain't breaking the law, right? The Republicans got to step in and say this is potential exploitation of women and minors. Of course it is, bro. Of course it is. And it says we know here in Illinois that most people don't start in prostitution as their own free will. We know that it doesn't start as adults. The average age of trafficking victimization starts at 12 to 13 years old. I feel that if we do normalize prostitution, legalize it, it is a disservice to those people who have never wanted to be there in the first place. Exactly. What's next? The bill is currently being debated in Springfield. In those next few weeks, it will have a better understanding of what these bills are going to be passed. Look, I think what's going to happen is they're going to secretly pass this, bro. Because I don't really think they need the Republicans to pass this. They just rebuttaling it. I think they can pass this without the Republicans for real. And this is going to cause mayhem. This is going to cause mayhem in a state because you make it legal. It's like a law. No more discriminatory. You have to pay them a 401k. The pimp's going to be, you think the pimps want to pay a 401k when they're making 75%? They're making 100%, 80%, 90%? You think they want to pay 401ks and benefits and health benefits and all this? No. Hell no. They're going to be trafficking these girls and you ain't even going to know the difference between a pimp and a not pimp because you're not going to stop everybody. And let me see your boss's verifications. Come on, bro. We talking about Illinois here. Really, we talking about Chicago, to be honest, because that's really where it's going to be going at. I mean, legalization of sex at truck stops, people coming from interstate having sex with women. You're going to have sex prostitutes all at truck stops, every truck stop in the country, even at gas stations, selling the cat. It's going to degrade the quality of women in our state for sure. Facts. And if you don't see that, you're a fool. Free the nipple, huh? Yeah, you're going to have a bunch of kids being sex trafficked and not going to know the difference. And now you're going to have grown men having sex with children. Facts. You're going to have grown men having sex with children and they were going to say, oh, man, what happened? That's because you allowed this governor to lead. If this got on J.P. Pritz's desk, he's signing it, bro, in 2 minutes. Facts. I'm a happy married guy. No, you're a criminal. If it's statistically saying that victimization of trafficking is from like young girls, that's what you're asking for.